They are lying to you. Who exactly is they? Well, it's BlackRock. And I think that we must talk about this right now, especially at a time where a lot of people are just wondering what's going on with BlackRock and XRP. What are their plans? We're going to talk about that. We're going to be addressing it. But first, I just want to quickly say right now is the best time to join up in the Discord. There's a free section as well as a premium section. You guys are more than welcome to join whichever one you want. But I will say right now, the Discord is the best place to be while the markets are heating up around crypto. Outside of that, let's dive on in. Let's actually talk about a few things. Number one, let's actually address the case ending, because on August 7th, we got the update that the parties have filed a joint dismissal of the appeals. The case is over. And we have here just in a joint dismissal of appeals have been filed by the SEC Govern Ripple, officially bringing their nearly 5-year legal saga to a close. Now, everyone is coming out saying that's it. BlackRock's filing for an XRP ETF. They're going to be tapped in here. We actually have odds spiking. We have over here Ripple ETF approval odds just surged to nearly 90%. This is actually from Bitcoin.com news, which is crazy because it's a Bitcoin maxi account that's now saying, hey, look at, ETF odds around XRP have now surged to nearly 90%. But regardless of that, we have why. On August 7th, Ripple and the SEC filed to end their years-long legal battle over XRP's status. Polymarket shows a 20-point spike in ETF confidence within 24 hours. Is this Ripple's breakout moment? Share your take below. And again, everyone is wondering what's going to go on after this, because for 5 years we've been following this lawsuit. We've been wondering what's going to happen after this lawsuit's over. First off, is Ripple going to win? Initially, the thought process was, did this just kill XRP? Did this just kill Ripple? What's going to happen here? Everyone thought that this was going to kill XRP. I remember specifically when it got announced. And then after a few weeks and months, we just kind of questioned what kind of issue is this going to cause? And today we know what issue it did cause back in 2021. It basically handicapped XRP during the bull run. But also there's so much more that we missed out on. For an example, Ripple expansion in the US, XRP adoption in the US. There's been so much that we just don't know that was completely missed because of this SEC lawsuit. So now that this lawsuit is over, we're thinking about so much. We're thinking about institutional adoption, partnerships, you name it, right? The main thing that we're actually looking at is ETFs and market expansion for XRP as well during this entire time, because I think that that's probably one of the biggest focuses from an XRP holder's point of view. Now, when we're thinking about that, we also have over here from Paul Barron, XRP ETF watch why 2025 could be the year. The numbers don't lie. XRP ETF approval odds have skyrocketed from 70% to 90% plus on Polymarket following the SEC settlement. Here's what's driving the optimism. So number one, legal clarity, because the settlement ends a 4-year SEC battle. Institutional interest, Bitwise, 21 shares, Canary Capital, Grayscale, Franklin Templeton, all filed applications. We do have that over here. These are all of the ETFs. It is a significant list. Institutional interest, we just read that one. Market maturity, XRP futures launched in May, showing regulated market development. Business analyst upgraded XRP ETF approval chances to 85% for 2025, with final decisions expected Q3 to Q4. If approved, we could see massive institutional capital inflow, enhanced liquidity and price stability, XRP accessibility through traditional brokers, and then price targets as high as $60 by 2030. And, again, I don't think that price is that crazy to think about in terms of $60 by 2030, because that still gives us about 5 years from now. But regardless of that, the main thing that I'm actually looking at here is everything happening behind XRP. XRP has become one of the most bullish crypto assets to hold right now. And I think anyone that's really kind of avoiding this has to be either a Bitcoin maxi or an Ethereum maxi or just a hater of XRP, which I'm sure, it's probably one of those three at this point. But regardless of that, the main thing that I'm really looking at here with these ETFs is what's the plan of action from BlackRock? Because we know that almost everyone has filed for an ETF. Even Truth Social, aka Trump's social media platform, filed for an S1 with the SEC to launch crypto blue chip ETF holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Crow, and XRP. That happened during the middle, or actually it was like the beginning of July. Outside of that, SBI Holdings is aiming to launch Japan's first Bitcoin XRP ETF listed directly on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. But first, it needs the green light from FSA. This got announced on the 6th, which was definitely a big one to focus on as well. SBI is extremely bullish on Ripple and XRP. And then we get to BlackRock, which, yes, we did hear from Nate Garashi regarding BlackRock. We have here, yes, I think BlackRock was waiting to see this before filing for iShares XRP ETF. I'll own it if I'm wrong. In my opinion, it makes zero sense for them to ignore crypto assets beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. Otherwise, they're basically saying Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only ones that will ever have value. Bold. And again, the main thing that I'm looking at here is if I was BlackRock and I take a step back and I look at the market, okay, I'm looking at the yearly gains here. Okay, I already have a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. Bitcoin is up 91+%. Ethereum is up 60, almost 5% in the last year. XRP is up 460%. XRP is the third largest cryptocurrency. It makes a lot of sense for BlackRock to file for an XRP ETF because it is a very marketable asset. It means that they can make a ton of money off of it. So it's a no-brainer move. I agree with what Nate is saying here. However, we got an update from Nate. BlackRock immediately calls me out, says no plans at this time to launch spot XRP or even a Solana ETF. In my opinion, this will be looked back on as a mistake. We shall see. And we have here BlackRock, which currently lists and trades Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs, said it does not have plans for an XRP ETF or a Solana ETF. At this time, BlackRock does not have any plans to file an XRP or Solana ETF, a BlackRock spokesperson told The Block on Friday. How much weight am I putting behind this? Not much at all. Why? Because number one, they're lying to us. I believe that they have plans to launch a spot XRP and even a spot Solana ETF. Whatever they're telling us, we need to think the opposite. This is the same exact way that I've always looked at anything that BlackRock has been doing. I remember when BlackRock was telling us that Bitcoin is useless, that it's valueless, that there's no point in even buying it and holding it. All of a sudden, they completely flipped back in 2022, said, hey, we want a Bitcoin ETF. Also, that's when they start to talk about tokenization, even though they scolded crypto for years. Whatever they're telling us, they do the opposite. I strongly believe that BlackRock has intentions to, launch a spot XRP ETF. It's the way that I'm looking at this is it makes no sense for them not to have an XRP ETF. If they want to make money, which is exactly what their business is, then XRP ETF makes a lot of sense here. And we have over here from John Deaton, I'll bet money that they file for one within a year. And yeah, I actually believe that we get this before the end of the year because the market opportunity here for an XRP ETF is red hot. With everything happening here, we got to think about this logically. Number one, there's so many other filings for XRP ETFs. We just went over them, right? There's a massive list. On top of that, there's a massive list of companies that want to hold XRP as treasury. Here we actually have the full list. Okay, there's almost $1 billion here. This is telling us that the demand around XRP, not just from the retail side, but from the institutional side, the enterprise side, and the retail side, is at red hot levels. If I was looking at this from a, asset management point of view or an ETF issuer point of view, I would immediately think we need to get behind this. We need a product that's going to allow us to make money off of this thing. That's where an ETF comes into play. BlackRock is not dumb. They are not going to tell us the truth. In my opinion, we are going to see an XRP ETF from BlackRock, and it probably happens within the next month. Like, I would say 1 to 3 months, we get this ETF. Especially now that Ethereum is starting to pick up in a big way, I do think that we're going to see XRP really wake up. I know that it's already, done a 400+% run in the last year. This next move should take us to at least, $5, $6. I think we go higher, but XRP is going to be everywhere, which is going to be the perfect time for them to launch an XRP ETF, because guess what? The marketing is already there. They don't even need to put money behind it. Mainstream media will be talking about XRP almost on the daily. Outside of that, though, what's crazier about this is we have over here from Subjective Views. Here we have Financial Markets Quality Conference. BlackRock says no XRP ETF at the moment. Stuart Alderati will convince them otherwise. Because, he's on a conference call with the CIO for ETF and index investments at BlackRock. Also, look at the other names here. The Deputy Managing Director at the IMF. How comical. But again, when we're thinking about what's happening right now, we cannot listen to the noise. There's going to be a lot of noise around this space that gets us distracted, that tries to toss us off our path as well. And this is where you really need to lock in. And you need to go over every single fact. We need to go off of every single data point that we have in front of us. And the data is telling us that if BlackRock saw a market opportunity with Bitcoin, then they saw the market opportunity with Ethereum, why wouldn't they see the market opportunity with XRP? I mean, think about the environment around XRP right now. We are essentially in phase 2 of the market where Ethereum is leading the path, right? That will soon switch over to altcoins. The case just wrapped up, okay? ETF odds are skyrocketing. On top of that, we think about what this could mean for XRP adoption in and outside of the US. Institutional adoption is definitely going to pick up in a big way. I would argue that there's probably institutional players out there right now that are thinking about tapping into Ripple to utilize XRP for payment flows. We already know that JP Morgan said that XRP would become extremely, valuable, or I think that they said it was going to be very successful after this lawsuit is put behind them. Bank of America said that they wanted to utilize XRP on-demand liquidity once the lawsuit wrapped up. So when we think about what's happening here, we know that these institutional players have already been very vocal about what they want with XRP. The second that this case wraps up, the case is over. The only obstacle that was in XRP's way is now out of the way. What do you think happens now going forward? So when I am looking at this from a market perspective, when I'm looking at this from a money-making perspective, an XRP ETF makes 110% sense. If BlackRock is not going to miss this. So I do agree with Johnny Dean. I also agree with Nate. I do think that we see a BlackRock ETF filing very soon. Give it a month, maybe 3, but we should have this by the end of the year. And it's going to be a huge catalyst for XRP as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord on the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.